Hi, first graders. It's Mr. Dasig here. And today in writing, we're going to talk about how to develop dialogue in our realistic fiction stories. Okay? Let me show you that really fast. All right? So, developing dialogue. Well, you know that when you're developing something, you're working hard to make it bigger and better. Okay? And dialogue in a story is when characters are talking to each other. Okay? And you know we're writing realistic fiction stories, and realistic fiction is about stuff that can happen in real life, but in our stories, they're fake. Do you see what I mean? Anyway, realistic fiction is based on real life. And in real life, people love to talk to each other. So in your realistic fiction story, you have to have characters that talk to each other because in real life, that's what we do. Okay? I know some of you have already started adding dialogue to your stories, and that's awesome. But if you haven't started adding dialogue to your story, today is a great day to do that. And if you've already started adding dialogue to your story, today is an even better day to do more. Okay? Because in real life, we love to talk to each other. Okay? And I think that's the one thing that we all miss the most about not being at school. But anyway, let me show you how I add dialogue to my story. But before I do, let me remind you about my character. Hold on. Okay. All right. So, my book series is about a character named Gary. Now, Gary's in first grade. He lives with his mom and his dad and his cat named Lainey. Gary's a good kid, a nice kid. But sometimes Gary gets himself into trouble. Okay? Don't we all? All right. So, I'm going to read you part of the book I'm writing called Gary Has to Stay in the Country Now. And I'm going to show you how I add dialogue to my story. All right? Gary Has to Stay in the Country Now by Mr. Dasig. Gary had just moved to the country. One day he was in the forest by his new house. I wish I could have a tree fort, Gary thought. Sometimes Gary was lonely. He wanted a place to play. He looked around the woods. He wondered, what could I build a fort with? He only lived in his new house for 3 days. He only knew Mom, Dad, and his cat. Mom and Dad were very busy working from home. His cat napped a lot. None of them would help him build a fort. Gary walked outside into his yard. He started to pick up sticks for his fort. He heard a noise from over the fence. It was a girl with long black hair. She was wearing a blue sweater. She was also picking up sticks. Gary looked up at her. Okay, so let's stop there, friends. So, in real life, if Gary was a real person, Gary would be talking to this girl that he met near his house. Remember, Gary is new, okay, to the country where he lives. He doesn't know anybody. Gary really wants to build this fort, but no one wants to build this fort with Gary. Okay? His parents are busy working from home. like most of our moms and dads are. And his cat, well, we all know that cats love to sleep. So finally, Gary meets another character that might be able to help him build this fort. So we add dialogue to the story to show our readers what Gary and this new character in our story talk about. All right, watch me. Okay? Gary looked up at her. Hi! Are you picking up sticks too? He said. All right. Take a good look at Mr. Dosig's dialogue. What's missing? If you guessed quotation marks, you were right. Okay? I'm going to take a different color pen and add them. Hi. Are you picking up sticks too? He said. Okay? Take a good close look at that. I'm going to try to put it a little closer so you can see it. So the reason why we put quotation marks, you see these marks right here? This one and that one? It's to show our reader where the dialogue is. And I added the words he said to show my reader who is talking. Hi, are you picking up sticks too? He said. Okay? So for dialogue in a story, you need quotation marks at the beginning where the first word of the dialogue is, and you need quotation marks at the end, okay, where the last word and the punctuation that you're using is. So see how Gary's asking that girl a question. After the question mark, I close the dialogue with the quotation mark right there. All right? Now, in real life, that girl would answer him, wouldn't she? All right. Watch what I do. Yes, I am, the girl said. See how Mr. Dosig crosses a lot of stuff out? That's because when you're first writing a story, you're going to make mistakes. Just cross them out. It's not a big deal. So again, yes, I am, the girl said. So everyone take a look at yes, I am. So the quotation mark starts at before the first word that the character says. Okay? And the quotation mark ends after the punctuation mark by the last word the person says. Yes, I am, the girl said. Okay? So, this is what dialogue should look like. Let's add one more piece of dialogue. Actually, no. Let's add two more pieces of dialogue because Gary and this girl are going to have a conversation because that's what we do in real life. So that needs to happen in a realistic fiction story. Hang on. Take a good look at that. My name is Gary. I am new here, said Gary. The girl smiled. Nice to meet you, and my name is Julie, said the girl. All right, let's take a look at that. So my name is Gary. I have a period here, but I don't close the quotation mark. I don't put the quotation marks yet because he's going to say something else. My name is Gary. I am new here, said Gary. So now I close the dialogue with quotation marks here because Gary is done talking. All right? Now, the girl smiled. Nice to meet you, and my name is Julie, said the girl. Ooh, sorry, let me do that again. Nice to meet you, and my name is Julie, said the girl. Okay, so one more time. When you're writing dialogue in a realistic fiction story, okay, remember, you, you start with quotation marks to show your reader where the dialogue begins. Okay? And then you close it with quotation marks to show your reader where the dialogue ends. And also, you must always make it clear to your reader who is saying what. So that's why you see how Mr. Dasig, at the end of each part of the dialogue, you see how Mr. Dasig wrote, said Gary, said the girl. Okay, so now we know who's saying what and nobody is confused. All right, so I hope you will add dialogue to your story and develop it. To develop it means let your characters have a conversation with each other because that's what happens in real life, so it needs to happen in realistic fiction, okay? Remember, your story for the week is due today. All right? The story you've been working on all this week from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and today. Okay? Your teachers are looking forward to reading it. Okay? So work hard on it, and we'll see you very soon. Bye.